It's coming today. Good morning. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna wait just a second. Hi, Leanne. I'm so happy to see you. Oh my gosh. Hi. Hi, Derek. It's good to see you this morning. Elsa. Oh, hi, Elsa. Sophie. All right. Just so you guys know, as always, I'm doing this with a cell phone, which means I really can't read a lot of what's being shown a lot of the time, but I've already called on sacred space today, so we are not going to do that as a group today. I do want to offer you to welcome whatever energy of love and light. You can welcome the energy I've called into this space. I can assure you it's very loving. Or you can call sacred space in whatever way resonates with you. But I want to give everybody kind of an explanation of chakras, because I know that everybody hears about them, and you know, some of you may have a really broad explanation of them, but there's definitely some people on here who this is brand new information for them. And so I want to offer this explanation to the whole spectrum of people and see what you guys think. I've given myself a couple of notes because I want to make sure that I do touch on everything, but hopefully I won't have to rely on them too terribly much. Hi, Simo. Oh my gosh. So I know we've got people at least in Italy, India, in Germany, certainly all throughout the United States that are watching. A couple people I recognize from here in Salt Lake, so that's great. So as far as chakras, the term chakra, or the idea of chakras, it's an ancient term. It can be stemmed back to the Vedas, which are an ancient text that they're at least 2,000 years older than 2,000 years BC. I would say certainly older than that. But chakras have existed since long before that. Okay, we'll just put it that way. No matter how scientifically minded or esoterically minded you are, by the time they were written down on paper, the knowledge of them had existed for quite some time. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Now, chakra means disc. It is a part of a different aspect of our body than what we see with our physical body, obviously. So for those of you who are really scientifically minded and not so esoterically minded, I know that you still know you dream. You still know that when you dream, you're in a different state of mind and a different aspect of your body and consciousness than when you're awake. So we all know that there's kind of different aspects of consciousness, different levels to our realities. Well, these exist in a different level of our reality. These exist in our subtle body. So for the esoterically minded, we know we have lots of different kinds of bodies that are existing simultaneously in our multidimensional reality. But ultimately speaking, our chakras lie within our subtle body. There's far more than 7. We're going to discuss the 7 most well-known today, but they do run all through our bodies, and they're essentially tiny little vortexes of energy, okay, that swirl, and they allow, depending on their level of activity, they allow energy, life force energy, chi, prana, Kundalini energy to flow through them, okay? So I would dare say that literally almost every single ancient wisdom from every area of the world has some different version of these, some different explanation of these. They may call them different things. They may call the energy that flows through them different things. But ultimately, they're all talking about something very similar. Now, oh yeah, so I want to talk about the fact that every single one of our 7 chakras, that are the 7 main ones that I'm going to be talking to, are also directly connected to bundles of nerves, hormone glands, and important organs in your body. So even though the chakras themselves exist within the subtle body instead of the physical body, they do directly correlate with organs within your body that release and excrete hormones. And those hormones affect, guess what? Our feelings. They affect our emotions. Some of those hormones might make us feel real stressed sometimes. Some of those emotions might make us feel just blissfully happy, and so we can't believe how, oxytocin, when you're nursing your child and you're blissfully connecting with your child, there's a hormone release that happens when that happens, but it's also a chakra experience that you're having. It's both things happening simultaneously, and they are absolutely interconnected beyond measure, okay? So now, oh yeah, and then also one other thing before we actually get into the breakdown of the colors and the the locations of the different chakras and what they do. They're also connected to pathways within our bodies, and these also, the knowledge of this also stems back at the very least to the Vedas. And these are called nadis, these are called channels, these are, let's see, what else would they be called? Well, I guess just vessels in the Western terminology. But either way, we do know, and this is not in any way, shape, or form, like, up in the air kind of knowledge at this point. When you touch one area on your body, it's affecting a different area of your body. And when you touch a different area of your body, it's affecting a different area of your body. And that's always going to happen, whether you believe in esoteric knowledge or not. Western medicine will prove this now. And Western medicine also encourages people to do things like acupuncture, acupressure, things like that. Those are energy work. While we're on the subject of energy work, that is the area that I specialize in. Tarot is not my area of specialty. That's something I love to do, to share with you guys, to give you a taste of it. I highly recommend that you go out and find yourself a tarot reader or something like a tarot reader or oracle reader, or start buying your own cards for yourself. But I'm an energy worker primarily and a spiritual alchemist. And so there's tons of different ways of doing energy work. But one of them, or two of them, are acupuncture and acupressure, and those are heavily recognized in Western medicine. But that's because they work with the same energy pathways that these ancient medicines work with as well. So there is actually, believe it or not, a lot of scientific support for the way that these energy pathways work within our bodies. Now, the first chakra that we're going to be talking about today, like I said, there's a lot more. There's chakras in your hands and feet and all throughout your entire body. Depending on how esoteric you want to get, potentially billions, but we'll just talk about 7 of them today. The first one that we're going to talk about is normally called your first chakra. It's the root chakra. This is a scarlet red color. It's a beautiful color, but and it's called the Muladhara chakra. The Muladhara chakra is also associated with a gland. I'm trying to remember. I think it's the coccygeal gland, and this is located down below the tip of your tailbone, kind of between your sexual organs and the end of your tailbone. There's an actual gland there that has energy that can be stimulated. But we'll not get into that too much today. In any case, the root chakra is located at the very base of your spine, and it's where your energetic roots would connect into the root system of Mother Earth to ground your energy, to neutralize if you're feeling too much stimulation and you just need to kind of get a release. This is how you ground your energy into the mother. Let's see. This is connected to your adrenals, so you're going to have emotions that are affected by the hormones that come from the adrenals when you're highly stimulated or understimulated in that particular area. Now, this particular chakra is all about survival. This is all about our deepest survival instincts. This would be related to fight or flight, to your limbic brain, to our deep animal instincts, which are sometimes great. You know, if you're walking down the pathway and there's a tiger coming, you want to be aware. You want to have your survival instincts well intact. But at the same time, you don't want to constantly be living in fear. And to be completely honest, like, before I came into a place of balance, that was probably my primary issue. But that's neither here nor there. Either way, this is about addressing survival issues. And in the modern day age, this is usually particularly about two things: your emotional safety and your financial safety. Unfortunately, I really wish that it wasn't all about that. But this day and age, if people don't feel financially safe, they don't tend to feel safe. Okay, so that's that really is a big thing that this one focuses on. And when you talk about like seeing red, the anger that comes when seeing red, well, that's obviously associated with being hyperstimulated in this way and not in a balanced place. There's also really, really good positive aspects of the color red. It can be very, very healing, especially particularly if you're a little too up in the air sometimes and you need to come into a place of a little bit more strength and a little bit more rooted. You need to get grounded more often. Well, that's a really good color for you. This is, there we go. We've got root chakra right there. And I did want to say a couple of different crystals that are good. I'm going to reach into my bag of crystals. I'm sure I've got it. I know that rubies would be a great crystal, a red jasper, which is what I'm going to try to find right now. I'm going to pour all these out. A red jasper would be great. Here's a red jasper right here. Okay, red jasper. Let's see. Red coral would be really, really good one. Anyway, there's a lot of different, and basically any really red one is going to be good for your root chakra. Second chakra we're going to go to is the sacral chakra. And this is orange chakra. This one is primarily, this is, let's see, Vishuddha. What is it? Oh, here we go. Vishuddha, which means very pure. And this is all about your purity, your pleasure, and your creativity. And this is a hard one for a lot of people because a lot of times we kind of have feelings associated with sex that make it hard for us to keep this one really open and feel really, really okay about this one. This is about, and it's about more than sexual pleasure, but I do want to say if anyone's having issues with releasing some of their feelings with that, I do have a very, I would like to think eloquently put video on masturbation that you may want to look at. But beyond that, this is not just about sexual pleasure. This is about artistry. This is about creativity. This is about bringing out your inner creative genius and your inner manifester. You can't manifest reality without having a good balance, well, without all of them, but without a balance of your sacral chakra. And it's okay to want pleasure. This is about coming into a place of being okay with wanting pleasure and being able to recognize the purity of who you are, no matter whether or not you may or may not have made mistakes, understanding that we're here to make mistakes, to learn from them, to grow from them, so that you can understand you're still pure and you're still allowed to be happy, you're still allowed to have pleasure. You even if you're not so-and-so's kind of artist, you're an artist of some sort. There's some way that your inner creativity just is dying to come out. So in any case, this one is all about that. Let's see. This one is not Vishuddha. That one is, that's the throat chakra. Svadhishana. I knew I had that one backwards, actually. I was very confused when I saw that. So this is the place of the self. And it is also still about, for me, that one is still about maintaining a sense of knowing that you are pure, even if some things have happened to you, even if you've done things, whatever, there's a certain level of healing that comes in your sacral chakra that it's really hard to find this day and age, and I really want to encourage people to love themselves enough to encourage healing that. Anyway, again, that's Svadhishana, Banda, actually. It means the place of the self. When this one is in balance, you feel good about receiving pleasure, but you don't over pleasure. You don't feel like you need to be constantly in pleasure. You're more than willing to go be of service or go do things that really like get your hands dirty and things, but at the same time you don't feel guilty at all about wanting pleasure, receiving pleasure. That's a really, really great thing. So again, this one is orange, sacral chakra, Svadhisthana. Crystals associated with this one are carnelian. Let's see, where's the carnelian? Carnelian is one of my very favorites. Orange calcite. Orange ones, bright orange ones are going to be a good one for this. And just honor yourself, let yourself receive pleasure, and give your creativity to the world because they deserve it and you deserve it, and that's very fun. Third chakra is your solar plexus. This one is the yellow chakra. This one is Manipura chakra. This one is about when you think of like sunshine, the feeling that you get from sunshine, the joy, the pleasure, and things like that. That's like a really positive feeling associated with your solar plexus. Actually, why solar plexus, solar sun. But it is also associated with feelings of courage, self-confidence, coming into a place of knowing what you have to offer. So this one, sometimes if someone is called like a little yellow-bellied or something like that, it's because it's like a cowardly trait. That's something where they're really not owning into their third chakra. I don't like that term very much, but I will say that courage is something that really is very heavily associated with the third chakra. When you're scared to do something, and what I'm doing right now, right this very second, is taking third chakra transmutation for me, because it is always a little bit scary for me when I'm talking to you guys, but it is a little easier because I know that a lot of this ends up getting watched later. So in any case, this is all associated with personal power. This is your inner warrior chakra. I'm always calling people sacred warriors. This is where your inner warrior comes out, and your inner warrior doesn't just fight to fight. A warrior is not a fighter. A warrior knows when to fight and and knows how to avoid a fight magnificently. But when they do fight, they're gonna win. So this brings out your inner warrior, okay? Crystals that are going to be associated with this are going to be sunshiny, citrine, yellow aventurine is a really pretty one. Actually, I have that right here. This is one I've really loved a lot lately. I'm going to show you guys that one. Look how pretty that is. Citrine's always been one of my very favorites. Anyway, so wishing you courage with that one. Now on to the heart chakra. Of course, this one is so awesome. Oh, I actually meant to show you these two. So on Svadhishana Bandha, that's your orange, and then now I'll show you guys for the solar plexus, which is Manipura. Oh, it's kind of hard to see, but it's this yellow one. All right, so the heart chakra on the hatha, it means unhurt. And so when this part of you comes into balance, not only have you healed anything that you have any kind of negative associations with, you've kind of healed any negatively anchored feelings within your system. So when that happens, you kind of are unhurt, but in addition, you have no desire to hurt others. There's an unconditional love that comes with coming into balance in your heart place. You come to realize that everyone that has ever harmed you was on their own path too. They got harmed. They had issues that they were facing. They had a bad day. They may have, if there's one thing I know about people, is that most people assume they know my story when they meet me, or they think they know things about my story, and very few people have any clue what I have been through. And I actually don't usually tell people those things much these days. There was a time in my life I felt more attached to those things. I don't so much now, but I did learn definitely really heavily in my life that you can't judge anyone. You just can't. We're all children. Every single person is playing in the same sandbox as you. Every single person is learning lessons. Every single person is on the process of learning a journey that they're making mistakes too, and it's not about you, and you just have to try not to take it personally and just learn to love them anyway, in spite of their mistakes, in spite of their flaws. And that's really when this one comes into place, it's not like you have to try to love everyone. You just love, and you love yourself too, and that's the more important thing. You actually cannot really truly have that for other people. You can't unless you have it for yourself. So that's a really, really important thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys this sacred. I'm going to show you this. This is a Merkaba. On this one, this is one of the most sacred symbols in the entire world. I'm going to probably go into this in other videos. Actually, I'm sure I will a lot. Sacred geometry, Sri yantras, things like that, a lot. But if there's anything that you want to look up today, go look up a Merkaba. This is a sacred vehicle of light. This is a sacred symbol of unification. This is when you unify your love for yourself, you also find unconditional love for others, because we are so deeply connected that you are one with one another. So when you find that for yourself, it's all you have to provide outwardly. So anyway, this one, I forgot to say it, I'm realizing, on the solar plexus, on third chakra, that one is related to the pancreas as far as what hormones are released hormonally from the third chakra, the yellow chakra, but now on the heart chakra, fourth chakra, which is obviously your heart chakra. Your heart chakra is directly behind your rib cage. It's not like exactly over your heart, but it is right at the same spot as your heart, and this one is actually connected to the thymus as far as what hormones are released at that heart chakra area. And again, this one is about love for yourself and others. So I just want to encourage you to do self-loving things, because as you learn to love yourself, not selfish things, totally different. Fear, love spectrum, those are on the opposite end of the spectrum, but self-loving things, give yourself a princess bath, give yourself men too, go sit in a nice hot bath with salt in it and oils in it and rose petals in it and stuff like that. Do things that are going to just make you feel good. I don't even have to go tell anyone you did it. Just do it. It's awesome. Just nice things for yourself, and also do nice things for others, because it makes you feel good. We're basically walking mirror neurons, so when we do nice things for other people, our minds kind of do actually think that we're doing nice things for ourselves. It's like this kind of secretly selfish thing. Go do nice things for others. Crystals associated with this are emeralds, of course, Emerald City. Rose quartz, I have my rose quartz Merkaba right here. Green aventurine is associated with this one. Really, jade, really any green, or pink, actually. Pink's also, even though green is kind of technically said to be the color of the heart chakra, pink is equally as healing, heavily associated with the heart chakra as well. And then now we're up to the throat chakra, where I confused myself earlier, the Vishuddha chakra. And this is very pure, or purification. So once we go through the heart chakra, we get up to where our throat chakra is. This one is blue. And this one is about speaking your truth. Now, speaking your truth is a little bit of a complicated one, because, you know, obviously we all know that there are some people out there that just lie, and that's just kind of their thing. But very few people just outwardly lie all the time. They either lie as a way of, they've developed a really profound coping mechanism based on fear from life, from a lot of experiences, honestly. But, or they've developed lying because they're not very good at being honest with themselves. And particularly, that's a little bit more dangerous, because a lot of times if you think that you're professing your truth to other people, but if you're not being completely honest with yourself, you can't really profess your truth. So for me, I would say this is one of the most important ones for going inward. It's speaking your truth doesn't just mean go out and tell everybody what you think and own your stuff and whatever. Speaking your truth means first going within and figuring out what the F that is, because sometimes, believe it or not, you don't know yet. You've got to go within. There were a lot of times I thought I knew what I wanted, but I realized I was so desperately wanting to be what everybody else wanted me to be that I wasn't really entirely sure yet how to get back in there and figure out what that little girl wanted. So when I was able to go within and figure out what that little girl wanted, and realize all of these truths about who I've been really my whole life, then I was able to start kind of speaking my truth. But speaking your truth is never about being rude. Speaking your truth may be somewhat about being blunt sometimes, but, and definitely about, drawing loving boundaries within your life. You don't have to like let people walk all over you or anything like that. But it's not about being a jerk either. It is about finding that loving ebb and flow balance between eloquence and, definitely always honesty, but you don't have to be a jerk. And you certainly don't have to go and tell someone something that you know is going to like harm them in any way, shape, or form just because you think you know better than they do. So speaking your truth is a really complicated one, and it's about a whole lot more than just going out and telling people what you think. Offer them what you think sometimes, and certainly if they ask you what they think. And my big encouragement on this one is to spend some time going within and figuring out exactly what your truth is, because your truth is not always what is coming in from out there. It comes in here. It comes in from in this spot inside of you, okay? So the color for this one, like I said, is blue, and this is associated with your thyroid and your parathyroid. So when this one is out of balance or anything like that in any way, the hormones released by that are going to come from the thyroid. The crystals that are associated with this one are going to be blue. So you've got sapphire, of course. Lapis lazuli is one of my very favorites ever. This was one of the most sacred stones in all of the ancient worlds, particularly in ancient Egypt, which I have a particular fondness for. Let's see. I think I've got a couple of those ones written down. Sodalite, of course, and aquamarine is one. That's my birthstone. I'm so ridiculously Pisces. So, yeah, so those are some really good stones for your thyroid, for your speak your truth chakra. Sixth chakra. Most people would know this as your third eye chakra or your mind's eye chakra. This one is associated with intuition and foresight and channeling, and well, channeling is sixth and seventh. For most people, this one is like the super exciting major goal, because people want to have their third eye open. They want to be able to see things with a more etheric sense, be able to see energy, be able to, you know, have a higher level divine communication. So this is a really, really cool one. I want to spend some time. So the pituitary gland is the hormones associated with the third eye, but the pineal gland is the third eye. It can't be activated until the crown chakra. It's hormonally associated with the crown chakra, and the two of those have to synthesize to be able to work, the pituitary and the pineal gland. But I want to talk about the pineal gland because it is a third eye. It is I want you to look it up. Don't just trust what I'm saying, but it is actually wired inside of your brain. It's right in the very center. It's shaped kind of like a pine cone, and it is wired with a like optic nerve set of wiring and within the center of your brain, and it gets calcified by the time you're usually probably about 8 or 9 years old. But within it are actual little rods and cones that are luminescent. They are wired. It is wired just like an eye. Science will prove this. Just because it's not on the outside of your head doesn't mean that it's not wired with a lot of the similar aspects. This is very cool information. And once you are able to activate and stimulate, decalcify that pineal gland and balance all of your chakras, you can have this awakening that makes it so that you have a completely different vision of the world. And I would like to think of it as a little bit more accurate, a little more real vision of the world, but I guess that's all up to a subject to opinion. So let's see, what do I want to make sure I include on this one? Well, one thing is, the only way that it can be stimulated is through light. The only way that that pineal gland can be stimulated is through light. And that seems a little confusing, right? Considering that it's like plop right in the middle of your brain. Well, there's two ways that it can receive light. One is through your crown chakra. And this is through visualization. This is through, I mean, anytime you're out in the sun, you're kind of getting, we're kind of photosynthesizing sunlight. But also you can bring light up through your spine to the third eye chakra. That comes all the way down from the Muladhara chakra. This is called Kundalini Energy or Prana Chi. It can be called lots of different things. I would be very excited to talk more about how that happens. But in any case, light can come from within you. It doesn't have to come from outside. As a matter of fact, this is by far the most effective way to open the third eye, is to bring it from within your own body. You have everything you need within you to be just, to make your dreams come true, to be everything you've ever wanted to be. And a lot of that happens by recognizing your inner light and to utilize that inner light. In any case, so this is about intuitive growth, inspiration. Anytime that we are told not to trust those things, we stop building our hardwiring for those. So a lot of us shut down our intuitive abilities. This was something I couldn't shut down when I was young. I had a hard time coming into my lower chakra strengths and stuff, but I really definitely couldn't shut these ones down. But in any case, most people have a hard time keeping these ones open because they get kind of shamed out of them at a young age and taught that that's not the way that we receive our information. And so I want to encourage you to really try and nurture your inspiration, nurture your intuitions, because as you start to trust in them and build confidence in them, you will you'll get better at it, and the opportunities will present themselves more. It's like neural pathways. You're creating a stronger intuition, a greater sense of inspiration over time. So and this is so heavily interconnected with the crown chakra that we're just go into that one as well. Ultimately, the crown chakra awakening is every spiritual warrior's ultimate dream. They want to it is enlightenment. It is the path to ascension. Depending on however you look at it, it's what creates a halo over a being's head when they just literally shine. And the crown chakra, I actually realized I didn't tell you guys the Sanskrit name for the third eye chakra is Ajna, A-J-N-A. I may not even be pronouncing that right. The crown chakra is Sahasrara. And here, we'll look at this one was the 5th. Here's the 6th. This is showing it as oh yeah, indigo. Indigo is the color for this one. And then this one is showing it as violet. Some people look at it as a white color for the crown chakra, diamond. But we'll talk more about that. But anyway, you see what it looks like on top? That looks like a 1,000-petaled lotus flower. Well, that's exactly what Sahasrara means. It means 1,000-petaled lotus. And when this blossoms, we'll say, you've achieved enlightenment. You are a fully balanced being in a human avataric vehicle. And when that happens, the things that most human beings would call miracles are not miraculous. They're just baseline, because your body is now in a different level of dimensional reality. And that is certainly the esoteric explanation. Obviously, that's not the scientific explanation. That is what I believe wholeheartedly. But I believe that some of the greatest teachers who have ever walked the face of this beautiful earth have achieved this exact thing. But I also want to honor the fact that some people don't subscribe to that belief. Either way, the crown chakra is associated with white light. It is associated with white luminescent light, which is basically just beautiful cosmic divine information. It's associated, like I said, with the pineal gland. This is the one hormonally associated with the pineal gland, and both the 6th and 7th chakra have to synthesize with one another for the pineal gland to awaken. And when it does, it has luminescent rods and cones in there that your third eye awakens. Okay, so in any case, achieving the balance with this one, like I said, is the ultimate goal for most spiritual aspirants, people who are trying to aspire to a spiritual goal. And this one cannot be balanced, or cannot activate until the rest have come into balance. It's kind of the aha crowning moment of the achievement of balancing all of your chakras in fullness. So some people do associate it with gold. I think that a lot more associate gold a little bit higher maybe, but diamonds are also associated with the crown chakra. Keep in mind that a diamond is a prism. So a diamond has every color of the rainbow in it. It's essentially white light in a solid form, which is so cool and so beautiful. Another crystal that would be associated, amethyst is one that I think of with 6th chakra, with your third eye, but it's also a 7th chakra one. And none of these, by the way, are rules. It's not like you have to use, there's not any crystal you couldn't use for other chakras. But I also want to talk about a clear quartz crystal, because this is kind of the godfather. This clear quartz crystals are associated with the crown chakra, but they do cleanse every single chakra. They cannot take on any negative energy. They only dispel negative energy. These are great to put in put around all of your other crystals, because they're a really excellent way of cleansing your crystals without harming them in any way. You can throw that in the bathtub with you. You can throw one of these in your water. I definitely would recommend throwing some crystals into your water to charge your water. These are really inexpensive but really effective ways of just adding a little bit of energetic value to the things that you're submerging your water or your body in, or putting within your body. And let me think. Not sure if there's really anything else that I have to cover as far as the chakras today. I know that I'm going to be going into more detail about them, I'm sure, at other points, but I wanted to give a pretty baseline explanation for people, as well as just let you know that I'll be continuing to do little blips and videos like this. I'm sure we're going to do one on channeling this week. I'm going to do some on Egyptian light magic. Going to do some, I don't know, I'll do some on what other things other people would like. It's never about the money. Please offer kindness to others within the world, and offer this message to other people if you feel like it would help them. But also, if you can't donate, if you're in a position to donate, your donations would be deeply appreciated. I love you all very much, and I hope that you have just a spectacularly beautiful day.